Hi, I'm Susan Fortunato. I'm the rector of Christ Episcopal Church in the city of Poughkeepsie. I've lived in the city of Poughkeepsie for 8 years, and over that time we've seen the problem of the unhoused grow in our city as it's grown across the country. Recently, I sat down with my friend Sam, who had the experience of being unhoused in the city of Poughkeepsie and is also a member of this church. Sam shared his thoughts and reflections on being homeless in Poughkeepsie.
So I was living with my girlfriend, former girlfriend of 3 years or so, and we were staying with her dad, and things just weren't going to work out there anymore. I didn't have anywhere to go at the time. I'd had a job at a Dunkin' Donuts that fired me after a week, just like that sort of thing that happens to people because we live in a world. And so very last minute, he told me that I just had to go. And the only place to go to was here in Poughkeepsie. They have the shelter here. I tried to call ahead of time to find, where that was, to find out what options there were. I understood that at some level they might be able to place you in housing. When you go on the website, none of that is very clear. There's 3 different phone numbers I found, and maybe one of them worked. It was not getting here and finding the resources that I needed in order to not just leave his house and be on the street somewhere. Which, by the way, this was October. It was not just being on the street would be okay. It was cold. It was really cold. Finding out how to be homeless was not clear at all.
Yeah.
So for somebody who's at least got some advance notice, knows that they have to make a drastic life change, you want to be as well prepared as you can. That, if I could fix anything about the system, it would be, maybe the first thing would be to not have, to have the resources for what to do if you suddenly find yourself in that situation, to be a little more clear. The first day I was there, it's noisy. There's a lot of people there, for one. It's when I went there in October, there was probably 150 people or so. By January, I left in January, but by December, January, the middle of winter, mind you, it was easily 200, 300 people there in the pods. I think that's over capacity, but it's freezing outside, so they have nowhere to go. So the pods is where they went. It is what it is. And just having that many people around you, strangers, noise, it's overwhelming. Especially, I'm not somebody who deals with large crowds like that in closed spaces very well. I don't feel safe and comfortable in a space like that. So that was overwhelming. But a lot of those people who need, not to cast a bad look on anyone. Everyone in that situation everyone in the situation on this planet Earth, if we're being honest, has needs. And I want to acknowledge that and appreciate that, because meeting people's needs is dear to me. But a lot of the people there had some severe mental health needs or physical health needs. There were a lot of disabled people. There were a lot of people who, just were not dealing with their situation well, who were exhausted or distressed or angry at the situation they were in, at the people they were around, and who just did not know how to deal with that well. That is both a personal failing and a community failing. I feel like um, as individuals, we need to take better care of ourselves and be more focused on doing well by ourselves and each other. But also as a community, we need to um, focus more on giving people access to those better habits. It was um, it was early December, I think, and I was just. Can I mention names? So I was just walking around. Um, I'd seen Patty. Uh, I think maybe once or twice, just like on the bus. At some point, we passed each other on the street. Never spoke a word to each other before, but we were just we happened to be both recognizable people, like just in the way we dressed and the way we look, whatever. She recognized me and said, "Hey, are you homeless?" And I said, "Well, I mean, yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, now that you've put it out there, yeah." And she just invited me to come to. Well, she said that Christchurch would be able to help me, and that they might have a space that I could stay, or they might be able to connect me with the space that I could stay, or something like that. And it was kind of funny because so this was, I think, mid-afternoon on a Wednesday, if I remember. There were no church services at that time. Everything was closed. um, and she was like, so we went up. She took me to the doors, and we knocked, and nobody answered. And she was like, "Well, that's okay. Let's go and ask Susan. Ask for Susan, and we'll talk to Susan." I was like, "I will come back. I don't want to knock on a stranger's front door on at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. She's probably having dinner with her family. Like, I will come back and I will meet Susan, but not today." I came back later, maybe Saturday or something, and I met Madre Magdalena, who runs the Spanish-speaking church here, um, or Spanish-speaking service, and and then that Sunday or maybe the next week Sunday, I came and had my first service, and I think it was the second, or maybe no, I found that it was the second Sunday of Advent. I remember now. So yeah, that's how I got here. It was just absolutely stroke of luck, act of God, all in one. It was amazing.
How did
Well, it absolutely helped. Um, so so to tell you why it helped and how it helped, I think it's important to recognize how little help there was outside of this community. Not all churches are wonderful, if I'm being honest. Not all parishes really get it. This parish really does. These people here really, really do. Susan, our leader, really sets the standard by which everyone treats each other. And I recognize that, and I appreciate that, because community Poughkeepsie is a community that is really struggling with some, as I mentioned before, some mental health issues, some societal health. We have a lot of issues that we need to address in this community that we're not really managing to address. Um, but you know, but because of the help from the church, um, I was able to connect with people just on a very basic personal level, not in terms of getting like uh, public housing or any, nothing official, but just by getting to know people person to person individually in this community. I met friends who were able to, first some friends who I was able to sleep on their couch for a little while. Mind you, I came to Poughkeepsie in October. I had been here 2 months before I had to leave the pods. Um, so I didn't know anybody when I got here. But because of the people that I met through Christ Church, I was able to, like, sometimes stay on somebody's couch, get a shower, get some food with a friend, that sort of thing. And through friends of friends, I actually met somebody who happened to be wanting to lease out their apartment. And that time frame took about 6 months, and it was a really hard fought and hard won 6 months. But I couldn't have kept going without the help from Christ Church, and I couldn't have like made it in that time frame, and so avoided all of the extra additional trauma and distress and difficulty and loss of time in my life to do good things for other people, because you can't really do anything when you're homeless. I couldn't have done it without the help from the people that I met here. So for work, so I work part-time at Vassar Hospital as a registrar. Nothing particularly exciting, but it's it's solid work, it's stable work, and it pays the bills. And I'm living across the street from the church, which is like just phenomenally convenient and so much better for getting here, because I get out of work at midnight on Saturday to get into church on Sunday. It can sometimes be difficult, but it's nice to just be able to wake up, throw on some clothes, and I'm here. So it's my own apartment. It's I'm renting a room in a household. Things are not perfect in this household, but man, I think every day that I am not on the street, I'm watching it get colder, I'm like, wow, it's really nice to sleep in a bed now. My own bed. Where like where I don't have to have sleep with the lights on, so I cover my eyes with a hat so that it's not too bright there, where I don't have to worry about like other people walking by, maybe stealing or attacking me, or talk. Like, I don't have to interact with anybody inside my room while I'm in bed. It's a huge difference from what it was at the pods, where every day you really have to wonder where your food's coming from, whether you're safe, and whether like even just sleeping in your bed, like if you're safe. It's a huge difference.